Hey you guys, what's up? Hey girl, hey, it is your girl Tash and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video guys, we're going to be getting into two awesome products today. We're going to be playing with the new BH Cosmetics Travel Series Puerto Rico palette. And then I'm also going to apply that palette with a collection of Rephr brushes. So I do want to shout out Rephr Brushes and say thank you so much for partnering with me on today's video. Now the video is not sponsored. They did not request that I do a video. However, I think it is in my best interest to do a video, and I wanted to share these with you guys. This is not a first impression, guys. I have already used all of the eye brushes that they sent over. I have a lot of things to say on them, so I hope that you'll stay tuned and find out what I'm actually going to say about these. Are they worth the hype that the internet is going crazy over, or is it just a gimmick? So let's go ahead and you guys come in and we're going to get into an eye look. Alright guys, so I will be inserting swatches of this palette just a little bit later on in the video. This is the Puerto Rico palette. It's called Party in Puerto Rico. It's very, very cute. It does come with a, or no, excuse me guys, it does not come with a mirror. But here's the inside. And then here are the shades. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. This is my kind of color story. But then again, you guys know I'm obsessed with eyeshadows, so do I really have a color story? Because I literally have everything in my collection. I do have several of these palettes, so as long as this is the same kind of formula, I think I'm really going to enjoy this. But I couldn't resist, you guys. That's gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is I will hold up the palette, point to the shade. All of the shades that I use will be listed in the order that I use them in down in the description box, as well as the brush number. So let's go ahead and just get into it. I am going to kind of share a small-ish story time with you guys today because I tried to tell this one in another video, like a full face of one brand, and the story was so short that it was just like not even worth, you know what I mean? So I already have my eyes primed, brows on. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the shade right here. It's kind of a lightish shade for the what am I trying to say? Transition shade. You guys come in a little bit closer. So story time. When I was 16, I had already been working for 2 years. I worked through a company that allowed kids to have summer jobs, and you could work full-time and earn a decent paycheck. You were getting paid the same minimum wage as pretty much everybody else. This is not a good shade for this. Just FYI, this is what the shade looks like. It's kind of that shade to blend everything else out with or put on the lid. So my bad. I'm just gonna do to this side what I did to the other side. So I worked all summer long. When I was 14 and 15, I worked 80 hours bi-weekly, and I got paid minimum wage. Back then, I think minimum wage was like, girl, don't get me lying. It's been so long ago, I don't remember. But anywho, so fast forward to 16, I decided to work 2 jobs that summer. I was 16. I had just turned 16 right before summer started, and I, of course, wanted to buy my first car. So when I was a kid, my parents were old school. You want a car, you need to buy it yourself. Cool, no big deal. I'm gonna go into this shade and then this shade. So, okay, cool, whatever. I didn't mind. So I got a job at a local grocery store in town, on the side of town that I lived on. If any of my old school friends know, that place was called Food Basket. I'm sure you guys remember it. And for the younger ones from around there, it is where the Dollar General is now located on 3rd Street, next to the gas station. So I worked there. Now, how I kind of got introduced to the job was my dad knew the manager really well. And so he asked her if she was looking for, you know, any help or whatever. And she said yes. And he told her about me, and she said, well, have her put in an application and I'll interview her. You know, It wasn't like I got a job just because my dad knew the manager. No, I had to go through the same interview process as everybody else, which made me respect my job more, if that makes sense. So I go interview with her. The interview goes great. She's willing to work around my other summer job that I already had. And so I was so excited because, y'all, when I was younger, I was not that lazy teenager that was like not willing to work. I mean, even before I worked for the previous company, the other job that I worked for in the summer times, I detasseled, like, or babysat or whatever. I loved to get my coin. Like, I didn't play. And so, ooh, I love this color, you guys. See how well it's blending out? So anywho, she was willing to work around my work schedule, so I got to work there full-time, and I also got to work the other job full-time. So I worked 2 full-time jobs the summer that I turned 16. And that is how I was able to save up and get my car. But the story time is on my first night of this job. So, like I said, interview goes well. She hires me. We chit-chat for a while, and I get my schedule. So my first night, I come in. I'm introduced to everybody. The manager is still there. She's just like finishing up some daytime stuff, and she introduces me to the young lady who's going to be training me on cash register and stocker, because you had to do both. So, do I want any more of that? No, let's leave it. So I get introduced to her. Now, how the grocery store is set up, it's a small town, so it's a small grocery store. There's 3 check lines. There is 3 cash registers, 3 check lines, 3 cashiers. And then there is like this little office over to the side. So cash registers, office. Well, in the office, there is either 1 to 2 people working. This night, there was 1 person working, and it was another girl. We're going to call her Jules. We're going to call my trainer Melissa, because I don't remember her name. So I meet Jules. She seems super cool, really nice, and you know, she's like talking to me about like what I do, how old am I, what grade am I in. Oh, that's so cool, you work 2 jobs, yada yada yada. And we're just kind of getting to know each other. And apparently we go to the same school, and she's, you know, much older than me, and she was just being super cool to me. So I was like, oh, this is so cool. She's so nice. This is, you know, awesome. So the other girl that's training me, Melissa, is her best friend. And again, they're both a little bit older than me, and they go to the same high school that I go to. So it was like, oh, this is so cool. You know, I'm getting to know older kids. I've always been one to hang out with people much, much older than me. When I was, I don't know, like 6, no, I had to be a little bit older than that, maybe 7 or 8. I had an old couple that had to be in their 70s or 80s, and I was always at their house. They were like my best friends. I still had friends, but again, I've always hung out with people much, much older than me. And like I would go over and they would fix me coffee, and I would drink coffee with them. I just like, they treated me like a grown-up, and the little old lady was so sweet. She loved having me around. I loved having her in my life. She was just, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I've always just hung out with older people. So it was cool that like these girls were being so nice to me. Move on to the rest of the night, shall we say. So she takes me around the store. She showed me all the departments, Melissa, mind you. And in between, like, her and Jules are kind of joking around. And, you know, we're all laughing. Everybody's having a great time. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're so cool. And they're not, like, side joking it. Like, they're including me in what they're talking about. And if, you know, it was like something that I wouldn't know what they were talking about, Jules would take time to explain it. And so, still going around the store, showing me the ropes and like the routine, like what all the work is that you have to do on the checklist for the night in between cashiering. So she has me bagging for her while she cashiers through the, you know, like the evening rush or whatever, because it got, you know, bumping and jumping up in there when people started to get off of work. So as I'm doing that, in between, like when it would slow down, she would have me come up and cashier. And in between that, she's still showing me the checklist stuff. And again, me, her, and Jules were like joking around and getting to know each other still. Like sharing stories. At that time, I was dating my high school sweetheart. And so, yeah, we were just like all sharing boyfriend stories. Like we were really getting to know each other. It was super cool, or so I thought. So break time comes around and I go on break with Melissa. Now, unfortunately at this time in my life, I did smoke because I was stupid. Kids do not smoke. It does not make you look cool. It is disgusting, etc., etc. And so I had went outside, or no, actually back then you could smoke in the break room. So me and Melissa have a cigarette and I went outside for something. I don't remember what it was. I think my boyfriend had stopped by to like see how I was doing. You know, he would like come in and buy stuff just so he could see me because I was working so much. Guys, I really like that. That is so pretty. I think we're gonna go into this color right here. Oops, sorry guys, I'm out of frame. I'm gonna put this on the outer V. I think, I don't know. I kind of just want to keep that like that. So anyways, so we're out there talking and stuff, and so after my break, I got to see my boyfriend. I was all giddy and excited, and they were like, oh my gosh, he's cute. How long have you been together? Again, getting to know each other and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go in with this shade and this shade. So after break, she puts me on the register, and I'm getting to learn that because that's going to be like the main part of my job. Hello. And so at that time, Jules goes on break, and whoever she was working with was filling in for her. I cannot remember who it was, you guys. There was a male and another female that worked there at that time. I want to say it was my cousin, because my cousins were working at the grocery store at that time too. So we'll just say it was my cousin. We'll say it was Shells. So Jules goes on break, comes back, and like I barely noticed, but like her whole demeanor was just a little bit different. I mean, she wasn't like rude to me or anything, but she seemed to be more quiet than she initially was. I mean, it wasn't like towards me per se, but you could just tell like something was wrong. So I just figured, you know, oh, maybe she got into a fight with her boyfriend or, you know, whatever. I don't think anything of it. The rest of the night goes great, and I go home. So I get off at like 8 o'clock that night because the grocery store closes at, I think it was 9. And you only need 2 people to close. Being as I was still training first night, I didn't have to close that night. So the phone rings, my dad gets it, and he's on the phone with the manager. I don't know it at that time, but he's like, wait, what? And like I could hear my dad was pissed, and he was like arguing with somebody. And he's like, I can ask her, but my daughter would never do that. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So my dad gets off the phone, and he's like, so that was the manager. We're going to call her Lydia. He's like, that was Lydia. And you will not believe what she just said. And he's like, Tasha, I know the answer to this already. He's like, but I'm going to ask you one time and don't lie to me. And that was how my parents were with us kids. It was, I'm going to ask you one time and don't lie to me. You had one chance to tell the truth. And he was like, did you see anything or anybody's belongings back in the break room when you were back there? And I was like, what? And he's like, did you see a purse in the break room when you were on break? And I'm like, no, I wasn't really paying attention. And he's like, okay. And he's like, did you see any money laying around the break room that you may have took? And I'm like, no, Dad. I'm like, why would I do that? I can just come to you if I want money. 9 times out of 10, my dad made us earn our money, but if we needed something, all we had to do was go to our parents, you know, because they knew we worked, so we would borrow it, pay it back, and what have you. And he's like, I knew it. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So he's like, you need to call Linda back and tell her what you told me. And I'm like, okay. So after that, apparently the cops get involved. The cops stop by the house. They take a statement from me. And I'm like, Dad, what the hell is going on? So he finally tells me, he's like, Jules accused you of stealing money out of her purse. And I'm like, what the hell, that little bitch? Like, I was never alone at any time back there. I was never alone in the store that night at any time for any reason. And so he's like, yeah. He's like, it's weird, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, Dad, I wouldn't take anything from anybody. When I was a kid growing up, my parents could leave $1,000 cash on the table and neither one of us kids would touch it ever. My mom used to leave money laying all over. We would never take anything. That's just, it's not in our character. That's not how we were raised. So the fact that this chick is accusing me, my dad already knows I didn't do it. It was just really up. So my dad is really, really, really mad. Like, he's pissed, furious. Linda is threatening to fire me. The police are involved. And so the next day, it's like, I get up, I go to my other job, and I'm like, Dad, am I supposed to go to work tonight? Like, I'm still training. And he's like, no, Linda called while you were at work. He's like, you're off until further notice. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, Dad, I didn't do anything. He's like, I know, babe. He's like, just let it get all sorted out. He's like, they'll get to the bottom of it. And so like a week goes by and I'm still not allowed to go back to the store. So I'm like really pissed off. I'm really upset, furious. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't understand like what the hell's going on and why I can't go back to work. And so my dad tells me, you know what, screw him. You're better than that. Let's go find you another job. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, but I'm still pissed because I had a job, you know, I didn't do anything wrong. So I go and look. Let me get a mascara, guys. Oh, here we go. So I start looking for another job. And, you know, the day's going on or whatever. The week is still going on. We're at the end of the week. I still don't know what's going on. Haven't heard anything back from the police officer, well, detective or whatever, that had called and taken a statement from me. So it's the beginning of the next week and the phone rings and it's Linda. And I can hear my dad, you know, things are totally different. Like he was pissed at first when he knew it was her. Because, you know, my parents were ride or die for us. Like, they knew. Like, if somebody called talking shit or whatever, like, our parents had our backs at all times. Because they knew better. They knew that they didn't raise their kids to be like that. Now, if we did something wrong, you better believe your ass was getting knocked out. But when you were in the right, you were in the right, and they were going to ride for you. My brother and I both. And so I can hear my dad's tone change, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'll let her know, but I can't guarantee anything. And so my dad gets off the phone, and he's like, sit down. I want to talk to you. And I'm like, what did I do now? And he's like, nothing. So we sit down. My dad gets a serious look on his face and he's like, that was Lydia. Apparently, they know who took the money. That person is getting arrested. And I'm just like, well, good, because they deserve it. Like, I didn't do it. And he's like, I know you didn't do it, Brown Bear. And that's what my dad used to call me. Actually, still does. My dad calls me Brown Bear. So come to find out, you guys, you're never going to believe who took the money. Did you guess? her BFF Melissa took the money out of her purse. And this wasn't like 20 bucks, you guys. This bitch took her whole paycheck. Apparently they had just got paid that day. And you know, back then minimum wage wasn't a ton, so we could just cash our paychecks out right there at the office because, well, we didn't make a lot back then. And so they had just got paid. She had all of her cash on her in her purse. Personally, back then, I would have kept it in my trunk in my car. I wouldn't have kept it in the break room. But you know, that's your best friend. You think you can trust them. But then again, I got to thinking, you know, like, what other people that work there do you trust that much to keep your purse in the break room with that much cash in it? Anyway, so my dad's like, you know, they found out who took it. I knew it wasn't you this whole time. He's like, I'm really sorry that that happened to you. He's like, but Lydia wants to know if you want your job back, like if you want to go back. And I'm looking at my dad and I'm like, hell no, I don't want to work with that bitch. And he basically gave me like a little pep talk and was like, you know what, you're stronger than that. You can go back. He's like, you can't let them do that to you. You know, you're better than that. Go be, you know, go be in her face and let her know that that shit didn't bother you. You know, she's the one that ought to feel stupid, brown bear, not you. Sorry, friends, camera died. So dad's like, you know, you're better than that. You can do this. Go face them. Don't let them get to you like that, you know. But he's like, ultimately, you know, it's your choice. If you don't want to go back, I don't blame you, but I raised you stronger than that. And I'm like, okay. So I thought about it for a day or whatever, and I went back. And, you know, she said she felt really bad, supposedly, and she apologized to me, and she's just like, it just, I couldn't fathom that she would do that to me, and I just knew it had to be you, and I'm so sorry. And after that, we got closer in a sense, because my dad's always taught us kids, you know, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. And I never really fully trusted her, but like I would go to parties and she would be there, or you know, I was just really friendly with her at work, but I never trusted her because of that. Like, you did not know me, you just assumed that I would take from you. Like, it was just mortifying, you guys. It really was. And the manager felt terrible. She was so pissed. And that other girl got fired, of course, and arrested and everything, and had to pay the money back. But it was just like, that was my first real job, you know. And so to be accused of stealing from somebody on the first night, it honestly scarred me. I remember at that point, like, I was always afraid to start a job, because it was like, you know, I always felt like somebody was gonna blame me for something because I was the new person, or if something came up missing, oh gosh, they're gonna blame, you know, the new person or whatever. So, oh man, I guess my advice to anybody would be, is if you are ever the new person, just never be alone anywhere. When you first start, like, don't let them leave you in a room if you see like a bag or a backpack, or so stupid. But yeah. Alright guys, so I'm filming 2 videos in one right now. I'm gonna go start the other video. When I come back, we are gonna wrap up the eyes, swatch the palette, and talk about the eyeshadow brushes. Alright friends, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the swatches of this gorgeous palette. Oh, you guys, don't sleep on BH. They have really come up. This is absolutely gorgeous. And I cannot wait to keep wearing these colors the rest of the summer. I cannot wait to dip into this baby right here. Oh my goodness. That red, these browns. Now, keep in mind, if you're looking at that yellow, it is 2 swatches, and I do have hair on my arms. I'm not bougie enough to be shaving them, so. But these are really, really pretty, you guys. And you saw them used on the eyes. So let me know down below, are you guys gonna be picking this palette up? Do you have similar shades in your collection like this? If I was gonna compare this to a palette that I already have in my collection, I would definitely compare it to the Alter Ego, I want to say Sunrise, but it is the Aurora palette. And we'll insert a picture here for you guys, for those of you that are not familiar with that one. But if you have that one, but there are some other shades in this one that are not in there, like some of these brown shades, especially this red shade here, these two guys right here. But I would say all of the rest for the most part, except for these two pinks, this one and this one. So I absolutely love this one too. I'm sure it's looking a little ashy on camera, but promise you it's not. Almost looks like it has a little shift in it. But anyways, so I'm not going to change my lips, guys. This is the final look. I had an absolute blast playing with this palette. I'm so glad that I did add it to my collection. Stunning, stunning, stunning shades. So beautiful. Let's see. The Rephr brushes, I already spoiled it for you guys. I absolutely love these. I think that they're worth every penny. And sooner than later, when I can, I will probably get myself another set of these just because I love them so much. And I am going to be doing a huge brush declutter. So please let me know by liking this video if you would be interested in that. If you enjoyed the eye look in today's video, please give this video a big thumbs up, guys. I know that you are getting tired of us creators telling you about the algorithm, but it really does make all of the difference. And in order for me personally to continue producing content and bringing you guys videos like this, I really, really, really need that engagement to go up. So if you did not like today's video, please do what it is. Give it a thumbs down. At least smash one of those buttons. I would love to chat with you guys down in the comments. You guys know I love talking to you any chance that I get. I hope that you are all doing well and having an amazing day wherever you are. I love you guys so, so much, Team Ride or Die fam. Let me know down below also, did you guys check out the Team Ride or Die t-shirts and hoodies? I am curious to know what you guys think. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram if you picked yours up. All right, you guys, I had a blast. I hope you guys, again, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. I love you so, so much, and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.